from downtown Salt Lake City. This is 2 News at 4.
Give everyone that little prod and let them know the situation is extremely serious and there's something you can do about it.
Utah doesn't just break its COVID case record, it shatters it. How the state is now trying something a little different to get people's attention.
And more than half of registered voters in Utah, they have already cast their ballots. More on the latest numbers just 4 days away from November 3rd. But first at 4, Utah demolishes its daily coronavirus case count, reporting well over 2,000 cases today.
Yeah, specifically, there were 2,292 new infections overnight. The rolling 7-day average now sits at 1,622 a day and an 18.2% infection rate, and 3 new deaths were also reported.
And for the first time, you likely received an emergency alert on your phone. I know it ricocheted through the newsroom, all about today's surge in cases. Kelly Vaughn explains why that was sent out.
That's right. So the feeling today is that many Utahns have just become numb to hearing constant COVID number updates, and it's hard to make a record-breaking day like today impactful. Governor Herbert put out a statement saying that out of the cases announced today, there will likely be 11 deaths just from today's cases. He said, quote, this will cause increasing strain on our already overworked medical professionals and leave even more families with an empty chair at their table. Now, also today, like we mentioned, you probably got that statewide emergency alert about COVID-19 spreading rapidly in Utah. The Department of Public Safety says it was sent today because almost every county is in high transmission rate and many hospitals are just getting overwhelmed.
There are people who very clearly think that people in the government are trying to control them, that this is blown out of proportion. As someone who has worked very closely with doctors, with chief medical officers, with epidemiologists, I see the level of stress that people are under every day.
The Department of Public Safety says today's alert should show just how seriously the government is taking our current coronavirus situation. Now, at 5, I asked them if they have any plans on enforcing our current public health orders. We're now reporting live from Salt Lake City, I'm Kelly Vaughn for 2 News.
Definitely got everyone's attention. Okay, thanks, Kelly. Tonight, the Draper Prison is on a code red lockdown for at least the next 24 hours as officials investigate a potential second outbreak of coronavirus. Now, they have at least 2 positive cases and are in the process of isolating inmates, doing some more tests and contact tracing. Right now, the prison has 9 positive coronavirus cases.
And if you're looking for a place to get tested for the virus, Intermountain's mobile testing unit is in Payson today at Wasatch Behavioral Health. That's at 285 North, 1250 East. We'll be there for 2 more hours now until 6 o'clock this afternoon. You do not need an appointment or even symptoms to get tested, but children under 2 need a doctor's order. Make sure you stay with 2 News for more coronavirus coverage on air and online with our 2 News mobile app, keeping you updated throughout the day.
Well, today was kind of a picture-perfect fall day, Sterling. It's starting to warm up a little bit. I'm loving it.
It's absolutely gorgeous out there across the entire state of Utah. In fact, the entire western United States is seeing some gorgeous weather. We still have a little bit of valley haze, although it looks to me like it's a little thinner than it was yesterday. But I think if we turned the camera toward the sun, it would probably look a little hazier. Salt Lake and Provo are the only areas that are in the yellow. Everyone else is in the green, so we'll see improving conditions tonight and tomorrow. That's the good news. Here's what we're expecting temperature-wise. Looks like we'll see those temperatures only down in the mid-40s tonight, so really not all that cold. And tomorrow we've got a little cool front coming in. I'll give you the timing on that, how it affects the Halloween trick-or-treaters, and then Election Day forecast is coming your way.
All right, thanks, Sterling. We'll see you in a little bit. Well, we are just 4 days away now from Election Day. More than half of registered voters in Utah have already cast their ballot. Let's take a look at some of the numbers. There are more than 1.6 million registered voters here in our state, and so far more than 851,000 ballots have been processed. More than 325,000 of those are in Salt Lake County. Remember, state officials are encouraging everyone to vote by mail and not in person if at all possible.
And for any last-minute or first-time voters, we're breaking down what you need to know about those deadlines. Here's Ariel Harrison.
If you can't make it to the polls tonight for early voting, you can still do that on Election Day or by submitting a mail-in ballot. So in Salt Lake County alone, they have over 20 of these official ballot drop boxes like this. If you're going to do that, just make sure Your ballot is to a drop box by no later than 8 p.m. on election night, so Tuesday. If you plan to mail it in through the Postal Service, your ballot must be postmarked no later than Monday on November 2nd. That is very important if you want your vote counted. To vote at a polling location, make sure you bring an ID. For same-day registration, if you need to do that, you will need a proof of residency as well. Now, election officials prefer that you vote by mail. If you do need to come in person, make sure you wear a mask and prepare to be socially distant following guidelines specific to your polling location. Reporting in Salt Lake County, Ariel Harrison, 2 News. Back to you.
All right, good info to know. Okay, remember 2 News has a tip line to help you through this election season. Just a couple more days, but we are here to help you investigate any issues that you may experience. Make sure you call or text 385-229-2316. And as always, please call your local election office first.
And with several states in the Midwest, swing states, both presidential candidates are there crisscrossing the Midwest right now. They're in Michigan, where President Trump spoke to voters. Take a listen.
It's cold, but I feel very warm in this group. This is a great group.
Your values are baked in. They're Iowa values. They're American values. You value honor.
President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden both rallying in Wisconsin and Minnesota as well. Biden also made a stop in Iowa.
Meanwhile, Democrats making a big push in Texas today, a state that hasn't turned blue in a presidential election in 44 years.
You have power, and at election time, that power will be through your vote.
Early voter turnout in Texas has already exceeded the entire turnout in 2016. That's pretty remarkable.
Breaking more records there. The Trump campaign is planning 14 rallies in the 3 days before Election Day, and Biden's team will stop, I should say, in key states alongside former President Barack Obama.
Meanwhile, there's a lot at stake besides just winning the White House. It's also about a balance of power in Congress. Chief political correspondent Scott Thuman joins us live to explain. Scott.
Yeah, Mallory and Jim, you know, there's only so much a president can do. It's Congress that controls the purse strings and has plenty of power. So those other races going on right now all across the country should not be ignored. Sure, the race for the top job at the White House gets the most attention, but just a mile and a half away, there are literally 470 also critically important jobs up for grabs. The entire House and 1/3 of the Senate.
We're going to help us all.
So as the candidates stump for themselves, they've got a secondary message.
We're going to increase the numbers in the House of Representatives.
And hopes of complete Capitol Hill control.
We're going to have a great red wave.
At the moment, the balance of power is split, and in the House, Republicans would have to make up a lot of ground to take back that chamber. Not impossible, but not easy. It's in the Senate where it's really tense because Democrats would need just 4 seats gained to take over, or 3 plus the White House, because a potential Vice President Kamala Harris would serve as a tiebreaker.
I think there's a really significant chance that there is a shift in control of the Senate from Republicans to Democrats. There's clearly a backlash against Republicans over the party's handling of COVID-19 and of the economy. Democratic voters are responding by donating enormous, historic sums of money to Democratic Senate candidates.
Races from Alaska to Arizona, Michigan to Maine, and the Carolinas could all be tight. Even South Carolina and Lindsey Graham's 18-year Senate seat.
I don't think I'm old enough to remember the last time a presidential candidate or vice presidential candidate traveled to South Carolina in the last week of an election. It says that Lindsey Graham is in trouble.
Though it can cut both ways.
It really depends on where the president is in his popularity within a given state. So, for example, in Kansas, the Republican is probably going to win in large part because President Trump is on the ballot.
So it really is up to each candidate to determine risk versus reward. Does it help or hurt more to be seen with or endorsed by someone like President Trump or Joe Biden? All part of the calculation in these races going on right now nationwide. Mallory and Jim, back to you.
All right, Scott Thuman live in Washington for us. Thanks, Scott. Make sure you stay with 2 News for continuing campaign coverage, and you can visit our website, KUTV.com, and even download our 2 News mobile app for updates anywhere and everywhere you are.
A new UtahPolicy.com poll finds that Utahns are split in their opinions about U.S. Senators Mike Lee and Mitt Romney, how they're doing. 50% approve and 49% disapprove of the job that Romney is doing, while 46% say they strongly or somewhat approve of the job Lee is doing, and about the same percent somewhat or strongly disapprove of Lee. Now, neither Republican is up for re-election this year. Lee runs for a third 6-year term in 2022, and Romney is up for his first re-election in 2024.
And Senator Mike Lee is speaking out today after he compared President Trump to Captain Moroni, a hero from Latter-day Saint scripture, which has caused some backlash. In a statement, the senator says, quote, "Maybe the comparison I made was more distracting or offensive to you than helpful. That was not my intent. I do my best to say what I think in open and forthright ways at all times." He went on to say, "I hope you will respect my right to do my best at that, even when my words come across in ways that offend you."
The Tooele County Sheriff's Office released the name of the victim who was found dead in Soldier Canyon. They say 60-year-old Vincent Beazle of Stansbury Park died of a gunshot wound. And anyone with information regarding his death, they are asked to call Tooele County Sheriff's Office. Well, more than 2 years of construction, and today UDOT officially opened 6 lanes of I-15 in both directions in Lehigh, that crazy tech corridor.
No way.
But I know, right? But the project not over just yet. Okay, over the next 2 months, crews will wrap up the project, which includes installing signs, lights, fences, and barriers. The I-15 Tech Corridor project added 2 lanes to the highway. It built 17 bridges and added several new on and off ramps. UDOT says the entire project costs more than $400 million. All I can say is hallelujah, because I drive there every day.
I'll second that. That was a big project, though, no doubt. Well, a 2 News investigation finds Utah is now home to several extremist groups. I'm going to show you what that means for you and your safety.
Plus, just 1 day after saying they'll remove guns and ammo from their sales floors, Walmart changes course. The reason why they're reversing the decision.